so excited. I'm so excited to share this journey of MarketForce with you. I really appreciate you guys giving me some time in order to share with you MarketForce. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is Bobby Siva's MarketForce certification presentation. The date is, I don't know, it's a Saturday. So
September 30th.
September 30th, so we're going to go with that. And we are in
Granite
Bay, California. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So MarketForce is a company that has teamed up with American Pacific Mortgage. And what MarketForce is trying to do, what they're trying to create in the industry really, is a breakthrough performance. Tools and resources for businesses to create better relationships within their teams. We understand that teams are diverse and people are different, and we want to give teams that opportunity to kind of speak a common language. And that's really what the idea behind MarketForce is. So the agenda today, we're going to talk a little bit about what and why. We're going to get into some neuroscience. Don't worry, I'm not a neuroscientist, so it's not going to get boring. We're just going to talk about what happens in your mind under pressure and what the drugs and chemicals happen in your mind. We're going to talk about the fundamentals of styles. We will also talk about your styles. So that gets a lot of good feedback. Relationships. One of my favorite things about MarketForce is that it's not based on self. It's very external. It's about relationships and how to communicate and how to essentially work better within a team. I'm going to give you 3 prosperity principles, which are really basic and you can take back and start using them in your life. But what you can do is you can also start taking them back if you're a leader at your company and start coaching your team. We're going to talk about the platinum rule. Has everybody in here heard of the golden rule? Raise your hand.
Tell the truth.
The golden rule. So the golden rule, we're going to talk about that, but we're going to talk about the new and improved golden rule, which is called the platinum rule. We're going to cover a lot of stuff today. After that, we're going to close, and then I'll answer any questions. Are you guys ready to go?
Yay!
All right, so who am I? What am I doing here? Why do you care? My name's Bobby Siva, and I am an integration and new branch trainer at American Pacific Mortgage. I'm also a loan officer. I've been with the company for 8 years, and I've worn a lot of hats. But my favorite job so far has been to train, to motivate, and to encourage new loan officers. We've teamed up with MarketForce, and I've been asked to be an ambassador of MarketForce throughout American Pacific Mortgage. And that's why we're all here today, is you guys are a part of that certification. So again, I really appreciate you guys taking the time to sit through my certification. So I refer to myself most of the time as a corporate cheerleader. You'll see me on a lot of committees, doing a lot of volunteer things, and working in a lot of different departments at American Pacific. And MarketForce is going to be one of those new outlets for me to promote APM. All right, so let's get right into it. I have a question for you guys. If something didn't work for you 70% of the time, would you keep it around? Let's say your car didn't work 75% of the time. Would you keep that car?
No.
All right, what if your cell phone didn't work 70% of the time?
No.
What about your internet?
No.
Right? These are all things that you would be like garbage, right? We're throwing it away. Well, Franklin Covey, their institute, says that 70% of strategic failures are a result of ineffective execution. So what does that mean? It means that businesses have strategies that they are just trying to make work, but they're not working. And we call that ineffective execution. So you guys are all here, bright, smart people, and you understand that if something isn't working 70% of the time, right, it's time for a new tool, and we believe that MarketForce can be that tool. The other piece that I want to mention really quick about strategy is that MarketForce doesn't focus on strategy. You're not here today because we're going to give you a bunch of strategies. We believe that when you team up with us, that you already have strategy, we're going to help with that execution. That's what MarketForce does, is it takes what you're already doing to that next level. And it really gets you wired for prosperity. What is wired for prosperity? Well, first of all, what is prosperity? How do we define that? So we define prosperity in 2 ways. It's an even balance of wisdom and wealth. Wisdom, it's not intelligence. It's going to be focused more around what you know, how you know it, and how quickly you are, your knowledge and your good judgment. So when you have all of those things, you provide instant value. The distinction that we hold for wealth is that you have enough money. So what does enough money mean? That line for everybody is different. We believe if whatever your line is, if you live below that line, you're living in pain. You're living in a state of constant survival. So in this case, wealth is going to be whatever that line is for you and living above it. That's where we believe prosperity lives. So again, these tools through Market Force give you the ability to have this idea of prosperity and get wired for it. Pressure. Pressure. It reminds me of Jim Carrey's movie, What Do You Know About Pressure? So the whole idea of Market Force, and I want everybody to keep this idea of pressure in your mind, because everything that we do at Market Force is based around the idea of humans under pressure. Okay? So there are two kinds of pressure. We have risk of death, which is actual. You're being chased by a bear. You're actually gonna die, right? And then we have another type of pressure, which we call perceived, which is connected to that identity, which is every other form of pressure that you feel. Let's say that you have to give a presentation in front of your friends and family or at work, and everything is going to be dependent, you getting a raise, everything is going to be dependent on how good you do at that presentation. That's a lot of pressure, right? But is that pressure going to kill you?
No.
No. So you guys see the difference between actual pressure and perceived pressure, right?
Right.
The cavemen, our ancestors from however long ago, when they were building fires and living in caves, they had to live for survival. In 2017, even though it might feel like it a little bit given the current way the world is, but on a day-to-day basis, we are not living our life in survival mode. And we don't think that that is something that is expressed enough or understood, and especially in the business world. If you're going to work every single day and all these little things are happening and you're using this actual survival mode, you're not playing the game of business at a high level. You're playing it at a survival level, which you don't need to survive at work. Nobody's trying to kill you. Does everybody kind of get that part of it? All right, so what does it mean? How can we deal with these types of pressure? Well, what we recommend doing is changing your habits. That's easy, right? How easy is it to change your habits?
Not easy.
It's not easy, right? It's like one of the hardest things ever in the whole wide world. And it only gets harder as we grow up. So, you know, it's definitely, it's not an easy thing. They have books, they have TED Talks, they have seminars, they have people that you pay hundreds and thousands of dollars to in order to change these habits. But what's important to see about the habits is that to understand what a habit is. So a habit is going to be something that you do all the time. It's something that happens a lot. It's something that's repetitive. So it becomes unconscious. Your habits in your mind think, we're doing something really great for our person because they don't have to think about it. We're just going to do it automatically. So a lot of these things that you don't realize that you do, maybe it's biting your nails, maybe it's smoking, maybe it's a lot of these things that you know are bad for you, but you just do them because it's just a habit. You do them unconsciously, right? So in order to interrupt that cycle, you have to be two people to your one self. You have to be the person that experiences the habits, and you have to be the observer of the habits. And only when you can observe that habit can you actually make that change. So what I want everybody to do is I want everybody to sit up in a comfortable position. All right? All right, you guys ready? Yeah. So I want everybody to take a deep breath. All right? And I want you to cross your arms. All right. So I want you to go ahead and take another deep breath. And I want you to change the position of your arms. It feels a little bit uncomfortable, right? That is your habits fighting for themselves. They don't want to change. Your habits are like, we do this. This is what we do. We're helping you. So when you change something that is already, the systems in your brain are already doing, it's uncomfortable. So it's your habits really fighting for their lives. So that's why when you think of some type of other unconscious habit, you want to kind of go back to that and remember that changing a habit is uncomfortable. All right? And so that's where a lot of these things are going to change. The other thing that you want to know is that you have good habits and you have bad habits. Who could think of a good habit?
Exercise.
Exercise is a good habit.
Eating healthy.
Eating healthy is a good habit.
Doing my homework every day.
Doing your homework. All right, let's talk about some bad habits.
Biting your nails.
Biting your
Grinding
nails.
your teeth.
Grinding your teeth.
Eating salt.
Eating salt. How about eating lemons?
Eating rice.
That's what I was gonna say.
Eating rice could be a bad habit, depending on what you're in, right?
Smoking.
Smoking is definitely a bad habit. So when your habits though in your brain, they don't have any judgment, right? Your body is just thinking, hey, I'm doing a good thing for you. Because when your habits are working for you unconsciously, they're thinking that it's freeing you up to do something else. So your habits aren't good or bad. We put judgments on those good or bad. We put the judgments on those habits if they're good or bad. So the thing to know about your habits is a habit is good. The way to know is a habit is good for you if it is getting you where you want to go in the future. If it's getting you towards your goal. That's how you know a future habit. That's how you know a habit is good. How do you know if a habit's bad? Because it's taking you further away from your goal. It's taking you further away from what you're trying to do, right? If you want to be a bikini model and you're going to be in a bikini contest, and your habit is that you eat cheeseburgers all the time, right? What are you going to have to do? You're going to have to change that habit. You have to stop eating those cheeseburgers one way or another. You're going to have to be conscious and aware that you're doing it. So again, as we get through Market Force, we really just want to bring you back to pressure. Your styles, everything is focused around pressure, how you react under pressure. All right, so just a quick agenda note.